Welcome to my 2019 Bound for Glory review. Now I know this is the next day. I didn't have a choice last night. It was almost 30 minutes. Actually, it was 30 minutes. And I could not get a stream at all. It had reached a point where the stream was showing Wonder Woman, the movie Wonder Woman, or some random music videos or commercials. I just said, you know what, let me wait until tomorrow. And I was already angry that I could not find even one stream. I just wait till tomorrow and I could see it then. And I have seen it. And I just got one statement to say. What now? I think that basically covers the entire show. Because we know Axe is not this coming Tuesday. It's next Tuesday. So what now for Impact Wrestling? What are we going to get from the product now? Because it's obvious they look like they're trying to tie up a lot of things here. Or it's possible it's going to extend a lot of stuff here. I don't know yet. So let's go to Call Your Shot. Now, the original Fight Network stream that this thing was recorded from had a problem for a good 2 or 3 minutes or 4 minutes before it could work. But I know the opening did have Eddie Edwards in it. Now, this was an intergender match. In other words, men and women were facing one another, which wasn't that bad. It wasn't great either. Because mostly the women, the smaller women, didn't even barely challenge the big guys unless it was a Jordynne Grace or three women. Jordynne Grace. You had since I would have liked to see Ty in that position, but Ty was not there. So you got Jordynne Grace, you got Havoc, and you got pretty much Rosemary, no Su Yung. Insight at all. And then, at one point, you got Joey Ryan messing with... I gotta say this. Now knowing that Joey Ryan is now going to Impact Wrestling. I was actually surprised he signed. If it's true. It's gonna be interesting to see the porn star act in Impact Wrestling on Axe. It's gonna be interesting how far they're gonna let him act. Letting people grab his bionic nuts. Calm down. It made me laugh to see him dealing with Havoc and Rosemary. I think I would have liked to see Su Yung in that position instead of Rosemary. That's what's messing with me. You got Rosemary after it was all said and done because it was Mad Dog Fulton who got rid of them both. I'm sure he did. I do believe it was Mad Dog Fulton who got rid of Madman Fulton. I like calling him Mad Dog. But Madman Fulton getting rid of Havoc and Rosemary. So what happened to Su Yung? Why wasn't she in that position instead of Rosemary? They didn't build anything up for Rosemary to deal with Havoc. So it felt very confusing why they started getting angry at one another. Well, you could say, well, they have a history. Really? What history is that? They don't really cover the Undead Realm much. When it comes to Rosemary, you didn't see her dealing with Father Mitchell. You've seen Su Yung deal with Father Mitchell and Havoc. So Rosemary has been months separated. So seeing them go at one another and no Su Yung in the entire picture didn't make any sense. Madman Fulton was the highlight of the entire show here. And then the thing that I enjoyed was seeing, maybe it's due to the fact I want to get in her pants. Just joking. Somewhat. We have Jordynne Grace come to the ring. And she is basically fighting with Madman Fulton. She's giving him full forearm shivers. She's laying into his butt and basically getting her ass handed to her. I was alright with this. I know a lot of people can't stand the intergender matches, and I don't blame them. If you overdo it, it freaking sucks. You're not supposed to do it every single time. When you do, it takes away when it means something. You got women dealing with women and men dealing with men. Oh, sorry for the noise, guys. This is being done during the day. And you could probably hear a shopping cart going up the steps right now. Ugh. Why do they always come at this time? It is so frustrating. But intergender matches are not bad as long as you do them in moderation once in a while. But if you don't, they suck. In this situation, it wasn't bad seeing Jordynne Grace in the match. We got everybody else there. We got the Diener brothers. Well, we didn't see, we saw Cody Diener. I didn't see cousin Jake. We got the majority of the, well, Raiju was not there. Raiju was not with that match. So you got I keep forgetting this name. But anyway, I'm going to give it to you like this. The person that I expected to be near the end had to be Muhammad Ali Shira. Muhammad Ali Shira had to be there. Because there was no one else they could put into the main title scene next to Eddie Edwards, who I've always said, if you guys remember what I've been talking about for months, put Eddie into... The noise is so bad, it's really turning me off. Put Eddie into the main title scene. Have Muhammad Ali Shira ready for the main title scene eventually. I didn't say he needed to be done now, but he needed to be done eventually. So this was his first taste to see how people would receive him. People hate him, so that's a good thing. I was alright with that. I was perfectly fine with it. So in the end, we had... Who do we have at the very end of that match? We had Eddie Edwards, Madman Fulton, and we had Muhammad Ali Shira. Kind of blank there because I was waiting for someone to do another noise. Anyway, Muhammad Ali Shira and Eddie Edwards were the last ones there. They had a regular match, and Eddie won it. Now, I'm sure many people will say, that sucks. You should have Muhammad Ali Shira there instead of Eddie. No, Muhammad Ali Shira is not ready. He only just came into the company, and waiting till now to do it would have been the worst mistake you can ever have. He has not gone for the main roster yet. Even though he went up against Luster the Legend in that match and basically wiped his butt out, it was not enough. He's not ready yet. They have not built him up enough. He's dealt with the Dieners, and he's semi dealt with the Rascals, which I did not see on this show. I think it was on the pre-show when it was Dr. Walker, along with whoever he had, and the Rascals. Now, I did not see the pre-show, so I don't know how the match ended. My guess is the Rascals probably won it. You guys can tell me below if the Rascals won. My guess is they did. In the end, Eddie won, so he will be going to the main title scene. The question is going to be, how are they going to push him going into Axe? What now? Will he be pushed properly into Axe? That's if he goes into the main title scene and not try to go to the X Division or the Tag Team Division. There's going to be a question of what he's going to be going for. My guess is he should be going into the main title scene, but sometimes Impact can be a little stupid and they'll throw him to the X Division because they don't want a small guy there. Next. Taya versus Tennille Dashwood. Now, surprising. The beginning of the match was not really well received to the crowd at first. Later, it was well received because they had to build up into it. That's the way it sounded to me personally. I just love me some Taya Valkyrie, as you can see in my face. Excuse me. I love Taya. Gorgeous woman. Capable in the ring, has a great character. But as I said on Impact, she needs to drop the strap. It's time. Because what is she going to be doing now? She just went up with Tennille Dashwood, who, honestly, I just felt was not ready for this position. You could have given this to a Jordynne Grace, to a Kiera Hogan. Yes, I'm not too fond of seeing Madison reign as champion, but if you gotta drop it to somebody, and since Taya is not dealing with Tessa right now, you could have been one of those other women. Or even, for goodness sake, a Havoc months ago could have gotten the title, and that would have given us something different. No. It was a good match. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the match. But Taya retained, which I believe was a bad mistake for me. Now, I can understand why they probably didn't want to do it unless they're going to be really stupid about it and they're going to have her defend this coming Friday because they're still on the Friday schedule. They're not switching until next week, the 29th. So if Taya doesn't drop the strap Friday, it makes sense they wanted a already established champion for the Axe television crowd. There it is, 120 million people that probably have never seen the product. Maybe a good 10 million have not seen the product. So it will make sense to have the most credible person there. But as it stands, I would have liked to see Taya drop the strap months ago to a Havoc and then have a culmination leading into Bound for Glory with Su Yung. That's just me. You guys tell me below. Alright. The Triple Threat Tag Team match. The ECW Originals versus the Swab of Willie Mack and Rick Swann and the North. Here's the thing. I didn't expect a lot out of that match. I expected the North to retain, and it was a good match. It was the North and Willie Mack and Rick Swann who did the main heavy lifting in the match, of course. Yes, RVD did a good job. So did Rhino do a good job. There wasn't a problem with them, but I didn't expect them to go all out. And people, I'm sure, as you've been seeing some of the images in my face, I think I'll do images in my face this time around instead of showing it in the corner. But as you see what few images I did get, I think I got at least 2 or 3 of them at least. The point of this, I didn't expect anything from RVD and Rhino. And if I did, it was going to be bad. If the Rhino and the RVD, the ECW Originals, actually won, this would have been bad. It would have been bad. But actually, it was something surprising. Near the end of the match, RVD decides to super kick a Rhino for no apparent reason. Now, that was a surprise. Then he super kicked, I think, Josh Alexander, and he super kicked a Rick Swann. He didn't just do it to Rhino, he did it to a couple of people, which makes it more interesting. I have no idea where they're going to go with this. In the end, the North retained. I wasn't surprised. Admittedly, I'm botching here because it kind of makes sense to keep the North where they are, as I said with Taya. Having an established champion already going into Axe TV makes sense. But if you're going to be honest here, I would have rather seen Willie Mack and Rick Swann have those titles because it makes sense for them to have it, at least by my perspective. Seeing that they didn't get it is understandable. Doesn't mean I agree with it. But now seeing that RVD is now going to have a possible feud with either Rhino, which it probably will happen, and most people will not like it. Not everyone's going to like it, because it's going to be 2 older guys who used to be ECW Originals that really don't go that quickly in the ring anymore. Doesn't mean it won't be good matches. It just feels like it's something that, even though Don Callis had kind of dropped it, because Don pretty much said during the match that, hey, these two didn't always work together because Rhino actually broke RVD's leg. And if they're going to go there, they kind of telegraphed it. And to be honest, I wouldn't have liked to hear that if they're actually going to say this on this Friday's Impact. But I understand why they're doing it. It is what it is. Let's move on. They met. Woo! The reason I botched was this was the best match of the night, and I wish it had been higher up and more promoted. It angers me. I'm sorry, guys. It angers me that Marufuji had not had one promo segment, one interview, one in-ring segment, just to come to Impact and at least do an interview before the damn match had happened at all. I was freaking pissed about that. And I'm not a big Marufuji fan. I'm a fan of someone being put properly over. Having a good promo segment, having a good video package and vignettes. You got to make the person feel important. And Wrestling Noah letting Marufuji come to Impact and doing the job takes a lot. Allowing them to have him and then working that match is something they don't like to do unless they're going to gain something. And Pro Wrestling Noah has not really gained a lot from Impact dealing with them. I'm being honest here. The last couple of years when Pro Wrestling Noah has dealt with Impact, they have gained nothing. Nothing from Impact. Impact has buried every single time their stars. They have not promoted them right. They never gave them really good video packages. Never gave them very good vignettes. Unless they become part of Impact, they never are promoted properly for a pay-per-view or a regular match. So seeing this pissed me off due to the fact and how good it was. It was slow at first and it picked up near the middle. And as you can see from some of the shots I got, this match was good. It wasn't about it being a high-flying match. It was an extremely smash-mouth match. It was. A lot of no-selling, which I found to be actually pretty damn good. It wasn't about their signature moves being no-sell. It was about just getting the damn chops in the chest and getting kicked around and being shoved around. They didn't want to sell for either one of them. And I think that's a good damn way to do it sometimes. You don't need to sell everything that you get. Sometimes in a match, you can 100% no sell at all. Particularly if it's an American match, where you're always doing flips and kicks and selling those moves to make them seem dramatic. Now, I know a lot of people say no, because in aerial, they don't always sell. They just go from one move to another to another. That is true. In this situation, it wasn't all about aerial. It was all very, very high level of strong style. That's where I see it. And it was well done. But I gotta admit this. I did not agree with Elgin winning here. In fact, I would have liked to see them drag this out a while. We now know by the end of the show they're going to have a new pay-per-view. What is it? Cannot Kill or something? I think that's the name of the pay-per-view. So I would have liked to see a rematch. And this time, sponsor it on Axe TV. One, it'll be good for Pro Wrestling Noah to actually be seen on another network other than just Pursuit. Two, it will give us something new to think about if they're not going to push Michael Elgin in the main title scene. If it's going to be Eddie with, guess who, Brian Cage, and Michael Elgin would not be involved in it, it will make sense for him to be dealing with Marufuji. Bring him back again. Make it look good. Someone go over to Japan. Do some promos. Do a video pack. Have there be some, like what happened with Pentagon Jr. Someone basically do some, guess what? Subtitles for him. I would be behind it. As it stands, it was the best match of the night. But still, I'm just, why? Why wasn't no promos? Now, the ladder match for the X Division Championship. I would say this match was the third best match of the night. It was interesting, especially AC Romero now is on Impact Wrestling. He's no longer working with Major League Wrestling. That's a big pickup. I haven't seen him since I last did my Major League Wrestling review. That was many, many months ago. Very few people watched it, so I just dropped it. Now, if you guys want me to go back to Major League Wrestling, just leave me a comment. A couple of people tell me, more than just one. Please, you guys want to see me do Major League Wrestling reviews again, tell me. But seeing AC Romero now on possibly Impact Wrestling, suppose he's signed along with Joey Ryan, that's something new and interesting. He is a big-ass guy that is thick. You see him in my face. He is thick. He isn't just someone like a Falaba who's short but thick. He is tall and thick. Put Falaba against him, Falaba will look like his little brother. That's going to be interesting. Now, was this match good? It was good for what it was. You could also see a little bit of a strange interaction between Tessa and Daga, sorry. They did not want to face one another. They did not want to hit one another. Of course, they're actually dating for what I understand. So they didn't want to be very physical. They went up the ladder a couple of times together and fought together, but they did not generally do any real interaction. It was almost very little physical action towards one another, hitting one another or kicking. It was almost none. So that was really not one of the best things they did in that match. It just telegraphs these two actually together. And I think that was not the wisest thing to do. When it comes down to it, I'm making it very clear. This match was good, but the outcome made no damn sense. Yes, many people are so happy now that Tessa is not champion. That Tessa is not going to the world title scene and she's no longer getting the X Division. But let me ask you a question. What was the point of the last 7 months? I'm being honest here. I'm not saying I was a fan of it either. And I'm sure people would say, oh, of course you are. You wanted to suck her, you know what's like crazy. You were in love with her. Dude, if you guys know me 100%, last year I was not fond of her. I felt there was something missing for her. I felt there was something that was not right with her. Not because her character was a piece of garbage. I just felt as this going on, there was something wrong. It took me a while to warm up to her. And then when it came to this situation, by May or June, I was done with this situation because they did not book her right. As I've stated for months, she has not been booked like a Chyna or a Daniel Bryan. Every time outside the ring, she got the business done. She kicked everybody's ass, but in the ring, she couldn't get it done. And it made no sense. She shouldn't have gotten anything done outside the ring and anything done inside the ring. She should have been a total underdog. And then by the beginning of this month, you would see her begin to win a little bit. None of that. None of that. So they've been sponsoring this for 7 straight months. It made no sense not to let her win the title. Not because I wanted to see it. It would make sense culminating into the ending of this situation with Tessa. Now, as you see in my face, it was Ace Austin who hit her with his cane. And the thing that gets me, she stood there and took it. She didn't try to grab the thing or try to hit him or do anything or shove him. She just stood there frozen. He got hit by it, landed on the ground, and then Ace grabbed the damn title, and that was the end of it. So let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. She's over here. It comes down to this. You push her for 7 straight months as viable threat in a possible X Division championship match. Then at the same time, you have be honest, a piece of garbage filler feud between Ace Austin and Eddie Edwards, making him want to screw Eddie's wife. And that situation, as hard as they pushed it and tried to make it interesting, is a piece of garbage compared to the Tessa and Sami Callihan feud with OVE. Let's be honest. They put a lot more effort into Sami and Tessa Blanchard than they did with the Eddie Edwards and Ace Austin. Let's be honest. This was put more over than this one. And now they did this. And as much as I'm hoping that the feud between these two are over, and I'm talking about Tessa and Sami, I doubt it's over. And that's the major issue. If they're not finished with the damn feud, what is the damn point of this entire thing? They should have ended it 2 months ago once Tessa got the pin twice on the Sami Callihan. With Tommy Dreamer's help, because he did it twice with her. It didn't make a difference. She finally got over on them. This should have ended it. And if it's not ended, this make no freaking sense. None. Ace wins. Let's move on. The match that legitimately made me fall asleep. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to be honest here. I'm going to be honest. I mean, I was upset last night that I could not catch a stream. And I was debating and going and look at some of the sites to see if there was anything up. And I did. I actually did check to see if there was anything up after like 2 o'clock in the morning, because sometimes some sites can do it. And I could not find one. And then I was doing some research about the animation I've been working on. If you guys don't know, I also have another channel. I do like animation. You guys can check it for yourself. I'll leave a connection below for it. But honestly, I was up most of the night. And then I got a little bit of sleep. Then I'm seeing this. And by the time I'm already pretty okay with happened in the ladder match, when I saw Shamrock versus Moose, I fell asleep. I legitimately fell asleep. Now, I'm sure everybody said, are you kidding me? That match was amazing. I reviewed it when I woke up just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Honestly, you guys, tell me why you like that match. Because that match was horrible. I guess that's the reason why I fell asleep. It wasn't the fact that Moose didn't win. He did win. It was the fact that Shamrock looked so bad. There was one point. Shamrock decided to go and do a helo. No, not helo. A suicide dive outside. Was it a suicide dive? Or did he try to do a helo? Yeah, I think he tried to do a helo outside the ring. And if it wasn't for the fact that Moose caught him in midair and saved it, he would have broken his freaking neck. You could see it in my face. He tried to jump outside the ring. He legitimately did not jump right. The angle was so bad that he almost landed on his freaking neck. This 55-year-old man was stupid enough to try and do that move and almost broke his ass. He almost broke it. When it comes down to it, this match was bad. Even with Frank Tag there. It just didn't make the match mean anything to me. In fact, it felt like it made Moose look worse. At one point, you got the ankle lock put on Moose, which was so badly done. It wasn't like a Kurt Angle ankle lock. At least he makes it look good. What did we get from Shamrock? A half-ass ankle lock that didn't even twist Moose's ankle to make it look good. Didn't even try to grapevine his leg to make it look good. To make it seem like he's really hurting him. It was so bad. This match was trash. I felt like it did not help Moose at all. I felt that Moose got the short end of the stick just like I thought he would. This did not help him. Let's move on. And finally, Cage versus Sami. The second best match of the night. It was. The second best match of the night. I enjoyed it. It was very good. You seen Brian Cage coming out looking like he's a mix between Mortal Kombat and freaking Wolverine. What the hell was that he was wearing? Oh my gosh. He comes out after Sami did. And there was no, in this corner, there is a challenger. In this corner, there is a champion. Nope. Straight out fight. And then we find out that it is a DQ match. I'm okay with it. At one point, Sami I believe he got hit in the head with a clothesline because he didn't start bleeding from the head until I think it was the second clothesline he received from Brian that he started bleeding from his head. And Brian, seeing that, decides to go out, grab the Wolverine claws that he was holding during the time when he was coming to the ring in that crazy attire, and rake his head with it. Of course, there was no real sharpness to it because he would be bleeding heavily. But it was a nice touch. And hearing that fake-ass B-movie scream, you can find it anywhere and add it in, and it's a fake-ass scream. That did make it more interesting, even though it was so corny. Throughout this match, there was a lot of violence. There was a point where Brian split his lip open. He got to split pretty good in his mouth. You can see it in my face. And they kept going with it. They even used the guardrail, the retaining guardrails, as fun items. I'm just putting it like that because at one point they got a badly bent guardrail. You got Sami pile driving a Brian Cage with a lot of force onto the guardrail that's on the outside with not that much padding. It was a lot. And then you got it again inside the ring. You can see that as well. In the end, this is what we get. We get Sami getting beat. I don't need to go in great length. We don't need to. We don't. Sami gets beat here, which I felt was not the wisest thing to do. I think Sami should have won this match because he needed to be legitimized. He is not. I know one of my subscribers, I can't remember his name. You know who you are, my friend. You've been saying they have been so badly disenfranchising a lot of people because of the way they've been treating Sami Callihan. I know you're one of them. You're not leaving the product, but you've been so upset that OVE and Sami has been treated so bad when it came to Tessa, when it came to Rich, and now when it comes to Brian. It's just bad. Bad. And even though he got put over by Tommy Dreamer, they needed to legitimize this man, particularly that he did such an amazing video package last Impact, this Friday. It was so well done. He needed to win the match. And in the end, he did not win the match. And I think this would have been one of the few times that you could have let him drop. Calm down. Because I'm angry. Look, if they allowed Sami to win the title, I do not think it would hurt them going into Axe. Axe wouldn't have been really bad having Sami as their champ instead of Brian Cage. It should have happened with Sami. But as it stands, they chose not to do that. So where are we now with Sami and with Tessa? I don't know. What now with Sami and Tessa is the title I'm going to use. And to be honest, I'm hoping it's over. Because if they continue this, it is a total waste of time. Tessa didn't win the X Division, which she should have. Sami could have won the world title. And he should have. And he did not. You should have done something with one of those two. And you decided to do nothing with them. And now if they go back to the way they are with this stupid feud that should have been ended nearly 3 months ago. It's been 2 to 2.5 months easily. Maybe 3. It should have been over with these two. They may still drag this going into Axe. Which is just like, guess what? Aces and 8. Aces and 8. I'm sure a few people remember that, don't they? When Bully Ray was discovered to be the leader of Aces and 8, it blew everyone's mind how bad it was. And how it made them angry. And instead of finally ending the feuds that Aces and 8 had, they dragged it out way beyond. And they ruined Aces and 8. They ruined Bully Ray. And you see him getting angry here. They ruined it. I remember how angry everybody was. And when it comes down to it, if they don't end Tessa and Sami now, if they go to Axe and they still get the feud, it is just beyond stupid. But this is my point of view. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.